All right, here we go. This is kind of expanding too on the science fiction story I was writing. Had a lot to do with the rise of Atlantean culture. Atlantis had fallen because of corruption, greed, corruption, and technology had basically caused that ship to sink. And This story is about the re-rising of Atlantis, the true culture. You know, we had the different stories. You had the palace, the inner walls, the streets, and then on the outside was the tribal culture, the wolves on the outskirts of Atlantis. Those are the free spirits, and even the free spirits from the palace. You know, they would kind of sneak out to the where they had the bonfires and the music going and the festivals and everything. So there's a lot of cool love stories that branch from that. You know, the people inside and outside the palace walls sneaking into the palace and you know, just this is the soldiers of Atlantis and all the really cool love stories that can thread through this whole thing. The wolves, the free wolves on the outside, and you know, when we talk about imprisonment and enslavement of corruption and how they feel, you know, they just want to get away and be free. You know, they just want to experience that true spirit of love and of ecstasy of being amongst people that are there to care and to be free and love and compassion. Money can do crazy things to people that can make them go crazy and senile and insane. But what's funny and fascinating about this whole story too is the thing that would free them the most is the thing they're terrified of the most. Um, and that's hard for me to wrap my head around. That's hard for many people to wrap their heads around. That these people that are putting turmoil into the lives of, you know, the greed and the corruption and all of that, and just um, it's absolutely insane that, you know, the very thing that's going to free these people on a unconscious level, free those the mistakes, the paranoia, the greed, the corruption, is setting themselves free to be free amongst the land and amongst the wolves, amongst the soldiers, amongst all the stories and the true love of coming together, you know, over music, over love, light, experiencing that. And it is our responsibility to try our damnedest to not shut them out. But when they continue to make mistakes, it makes it even more difficult. They purposely make it more difficult for us to reach out to them, to pull them back to the good side of life. And so that's where accountability comes into play too. Stop making it difficult for us to reach out to you all. You know, stop putting yourselves in a cage and enslaving yourselves into greed and corruption, because it keeps pushing you in a bad place, and it keeps pushing them in a place you don't want to be, where you don't love yourself, where you hate yourself. Every day you just hate yourself in those kind of situations, making decisions that you go against your heart at every turn. Um, you're fighting the thing that's going to set you free, man. All of you. We look at politics. We look at how much they hate their jobs. You know, those sad faces in Congress. They don't like their jobs anymore. You know why, guys? You just let um, I don't know. You let greed get to you, but more so you let your fears get to you. You know, and that's weak, and we don't need that as a weakness in this country right now. Is those fears are making people make stupid decisions and making more enemies to try and justify their own mistakes. And we need great men and women in this country to represent. So but the re-rising of Atlantis in culture and modern day society is kind of what this is about. It's like unlocking the imagination to unearth that part of society that is necessary. You know, those dreams. It's almost like this new world and this new universe um, is seeping through our dreams, kind of in the same context. People are dreaming of the same place where we all go and we're building and we're constructing, we're coming together and living that dream and building that dream. Um, but through those dreams, everybody's kind of shifting and moving and migrating and passing on information that even in a society where people want to control all that information is still being passed around by our higher consciousness, because when we go into deep sleep from all of the pain and the weight and the paranoia and the media and everything, when we go to sleep in our own peace, um, that's where we go to our safe self, you know, and then and that's to and the thing is, you can't stop us from sharing, you know, sharing information on that realm, and you don't even know what information we're sharing with each other. That's kind of a cool thing. It's like the world of spies sharing information in the dream world, passing that information to each other, to get that information to people that we know, and even on people like myself, you never know what information's been shared without knowing it. I don't know. You don't know. So it gets to a really cool matrix type part of the whole thing, where it's kind of the conclusion is, you guys, you know, in that part of it, you're done, and we realize perhaps people that have lost hope and have been consumed by fear have already given up, and that's the tragedy in this whole story. Is perhaps those people have already given up, so they wanted to just say a big F you to everybody in the country because they knew they were already on the path to failure. Um, and that's tragic. That does not show strength. That does not show you're a better person. That does not show better leadership. That does not build bridges in society. Um, so again, this story in this movie kind of expands on that, and it's the imagination coming into this world. The rainbow children. You look up the prophecy of the Native American culture and the rainbow children, and of course, closed-minded people interpret that wrong. But this is the new wave of you understand, like, people are fighting. We talk about the dreams of every person, even when our worst enemies were younger. They were a child, and they dreamed of a beautiful future, a kick-ass future with technology, new cars, new transportation, new cities. You know, beyond our imaginations. And we're like, yeah, let's work towards that. I can't wait for that future to be here. And now as they get older and they get pulled into that structure where they just feel encaged and everything, they can't understand that freeing themselves is a huge part of our freedom, but also their freedom, and that's what we're fighting. We're all like, we're fighting and resisting each other and fighting each other, because that is the end goal of everybody, and we can't even realize that. And that's the part where I'm like, oh my God, guys, we are a completely stupid species. We are, you know, this is making us look like complete fools. It's making, but a lot of us get that, and we're still fighting for that freedom. We know where that has to go. It's just other. It's not kicking. In on a lot of people's hearts, and that's through no fault of our own. Um, so again, people keep making their mistakes. I don't know why, but they keep doing it, and they keep doing it, and it's the whole thing of wanting to have control, but they're losing control, and it's obvious, and it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and they're not standing up for themselves, who they are as people. They can't get emotional on any level. Um, um, but again, the technology part too of it, if you go back and look at these videos, that was kind of something, when I first started writing this. I didn't know anything about technology, or advanced technology, military technology, or even related it to the Atlantis part of it. But I knew when I was first writing this chapter, there was this, you know, this tower that had a ball of energy that needed to be destroyed, you know, and that was that it was falling and crashing down, and that was part of the freedom, is that no longer existing, or that technology that is built and designed to render people away from the very dream that's going to free the people that we're fighting against, and they're too stupid to realize that. Um, so I don't know how else to explain that to anybody. Um, but again, it takes a lot of ball. So this is so I'll kind of get back into it too. Some scenes, I guess I got to put some scenes out there too. Um, you know, so it was kind of a, in the dream world, the DJ's spinning, and it puts out this energy to the universe. And of course, there's people that are fear-based that probably make up stories. Anyway, they make up stories to think the complete opposite, to intentionally get themselves paranoid. But in the story, it was actually a wave, a burst of energy that went out to, I'll call it, an intelligent life that understands the beauty and the culture, and is very curious about the culture and the beauty of the arts, that makes human beings truly unique. So most of the movies you see, like the aliens are attacking, they want to destroy the planet and everything, but how often do we ever take on that other perspective, like, hey, maybe they're coming around more often because they are genuinely curious and they have been here throughout the ages. They're not here to destroy. If they wanted to destroy this world and this planet, they would have done it, you know, um, any time, any year they wanted to, and they would have come down and taken over the planet, So I don't understand this whole alien invasion thing, because we got to look at it on an intellectual level, and. I think if there's a super intelligent intellectual beings out there, they would come by. They'd be like, "Man, these guys are crazy. They're weird. What the hell is this deal with war? Like, what are they fighting against? Because they've already achieved and understand a certain level of beauty in this galaxy. And they look at us. They're like, they got it. Oh no, they don't really got it. This is kind of trashy right here. This is kind of stupid. They're not really getting it." But they do have a great culture. They do have a great, um, beauty and poetry and music when they put their effort into it. These are beautiful creatures, and so it's kind of that perspective too. Um, you know, if you just look at it, try to put yourself in an intellectual state of mind, a very expansive, unlimited, universal. It free of labels, free of thinking on a larger bubble of this whole thing, and then looking at this world and what it's being sensationalized to be or not to be. I think people make up stories to make excuses not to go in a good direction, I think. And that kind of generalizes so much in this world right now on so many levels. So many people are doing that. So this is me kind of giving a shout out. That's the main message of this story is, getting excited, understanding that to expand on that part of the thing, the coming to the intellectual creative part, on a multifaceted level, just a cultural, yes, like a cultural celebration of everything that is freaking awesome in this world, is required for us to make those steps and to come to those conclusions that none of this is necessary, less of this is necessary. Okay, we've taken care of this. Okay, even less of this is necessary, so let's keep doing this. Okay, this is really great, guys. This is actually working out, not just for this country but that country too, because we're helping them, they're helping us to build a better world, better infrastructure. Maybe this is what we should have been doing a long time ago, but we made a lot of mistakes, but at least we can start now instead of pushing in the wrong direction. So it takes a lot of cojones, to finally take that first step to be like, listen, let's do it. For my sake, for your sake, for the people that are around me that love me, their sake, for the people around you that love you, for their sake, those people that encourage you your whole life to do the right thing, like try to keep you out of trouble. Maybe you guys didn't quite listen, and it got you in trouble, but this is about people do make mistakes. I'm trying to get people in the right direction. And this is a great movie to kind of implement this and put this movie out there to, the rise of Atlantis culture does bring, it doesn't, it's not about destruction of Atlantis. It's kind of like doing it right so Atlantis never has to fall again. That's kind of the basic message of what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is like a rebellion against the palace walls or anything. I'm saying this is a building up of everything, and expanding around everything, and building up those villages and those cities and those towns and those bridges and those transportations, and expanding on everything that is beautiful in this culture. Um, this is not the rise of corruption. That shouldn't be interpreted in the wrong way. If anybody interpreted that the wrong way, but I don't think anybody, and we see what the fools are making of themselves. Um, it's bringing class, actual class and atmosphere to this world and this country. Um, so, and creating those places around the country. Think of this, guys. Um, each person, each one of you, in your own imagination, think of um, a restaurant or theme or a bar or a venue or and then add a theme to it, or an element: fire, water, snow, ice, the jungle, or add like a culture to it, the India, the Inca, the Aztec, the Egyptian, the Moroccan, the Australia, whatever. And then it kind of like each person out there can own a place like that or help build a place like that, or um, I talked about it in one of the other videos. Like, I like the idea of paintball arenas. Everybody talks about the gun violence and everything, and I think paintball arenas is a good place for people to get out their aggressions. Um, it, it, but also, it's a good way to get out aggressions and feel um, that gamemanship of that, but without the violence. And I think that will also help reduce a lot of violence in this country too, as well. But it also helped build teamwork too on so many levels, working with a team, that live action video game playing, and bringing it to that realm, and into that realm and away from the streets, and that's kind of so much of what I'm trying to accomplish and get across to you guys. Celebrity paintball, I think that was always a cool idea, where each year we have competition or championship where you get, you know you and so we look at the weakness in men in this world, and how weak it is. I really gotta say, imagine, you have this whole conglomerate of, anyway, that's what's strange in this world, isn't it? That's what's really strange in this world. For some reason, weak-minded men have forgotten how to live as men, I think, in this world. It has nothing to do with masculinity or femininity. It has nothing to do with that. It's actually, um, again, being successful men, successful on as many levels, successfully being admired for the right reasons. Successfully, intimidation is not the way to go in this world. When you do that, man, it gets the people around you pissed off with you, and it's doesn't work. It's overcompensating. It's insecurities. How insecure are people in this? How insecure are these evil people in this world? How insecure can they possibly be? Um, because they buy protection, they buy ways for them to never interact with people ever again, and that's because they're so insecure to be out in public, speaking their mind, being those good people, being, I think they hide because they know they're so fake, and they're going to get called on it because people's intuition is bumping way up. So we don't need the media to tell anything about those characters. Um, so then they would get scared and terrified, and that's just not the way. Anyway, I guess reaching across, to the good people of America, we got um, so anyway, let me keep going. These music festivals and everything to kind of fund a movie like this, but also when you have uh, these competitions and these championships, to build these environments that can be featured in the movie or featured in a TV show that's the offspin of the movie, and vice versa. And then you kind of compete, where each state is competing to build these amazing, cool places, where all the money kind of still gets funded, to help the homeless, help the needy, help the veterans, and everything. So it's a movie that, if manifested, will reverse so much in this world, in this country. And um, if the people out there are afraid of that, it comes down to me as one person with this idea, putting it out there, and those people suppressing one person. We have a whole conglomerate, we have people out there with unlimited money, and unlimited power. But if one person intimidates them that much, it can be extremely embarrassing. But I won't take, it can be empowering for myself, I guess. But on the flip side of everything too, I represent basically everybody else in this country. You know, the vast majority of everybody else in this country. I'm just one person. Everybody else is just one person too. So stop bullshitting us. Stop bullshitting yourself. Um, and but again, the context too about language and everything too. When it comes to um, the expression emotion through paint and through picture and through sound and through vibrations and through form and function. People that can communicate can communicate with music. If you think about that, if you meet somebody from a foreign country and you want to say hello, or you want to express an emotion, you can look through your music and express an emotion, and then they would recognize that song, that feeling, and then they could respond with music, and then you're like, ah, he gets it, or yeah, yeah, and it just kind of expands on this story that I'm writing, because it's kind of because the threat of extraterrestrial and everything, right? So let's you know in every war movie there is against extraterrestrial, they probably get pissed off because we shoot all kinds of you know weapons at them or whatever. But this is bridging that gap of music, like surprising them by doing what we do here in the world, in the country, expressing that music and having that vibrate outwards, and even those light shows and those display of something very curious and very beautiful. Um, um, and then the response from the extraterrestrials responding with their form of language and music too. So it becomes this way for people to communicate through beauty and through intelligence. And so that hits a huge topic too when it comes to bridging the gaps on the language barriers between um, opposing people, opposing parties, opposing cultures, opposing, connecting with music is a thing. It's like the torus theory and the Big Bang theory, that the energy recycles and keeps going through it. Everybody kind of meets in the middle with that music and that light, and expands out, and we continue to um, move. We continue to move. Energy always moves, despite, a thought has the speed of sound. So you gotta keep, and thought does have the power of manifestation, too. So manifesting, those connections and that reality of breaking the language barriers and opening the imagination, is happening. I see it happening all the time. And my, when I think something that I normally don't think, like a word, I'll think like Honda Civic is the is I did this too. This is just an example, but I did this one day. For whatever reason, the Honda Civic came in my mind. I was like, okay, why did I think that? Oh, it's one of the most popular cars back in the '90s, late '90s, in high school. And then it came up, I think, one more time, and then I ended up meeting somebody that night, and I was like, I got in the car. I was like, wait, is this a Honda? He's like, oh yeah, it's a Honda Civic, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so, and or when you literally think of a song right before you turn your phone on a Pandora, and then that just bam, like right there, it happens. So the power of manifestation of beauty and light, and you know, there's this whole thing too where people try to put fear into you to manifest fear. But when it's resistant and we reject it, and we're not having it, we're done. It's fraud. It's over. It's fake. We see through it. You're done. You're over. Quit being a little pansy, and start being a man. You got to understand that that's kind of what's going on now. Is you know that's how you push back on that, because um, war's not a man's game. Ask any woman out there. It's weak, and it's weak-minded. Um, we got to get more in a competitive field in a creative way. because creation takes more energy, it takes more effort, it takes more intelligence, it takes more of your brain working and your heart working and synchronizing that. And if you can't do that, you keep losing. Stop blaming, stop taking your anger out on the rest of us because you can't do that. This is the evolutionary theory about expanding our potential as human beings to become something better. Stop preventing that from happening. And if, this is my message to you guys. And again, the backlash in the sphere machine and pushing war and everything, that is the fear of that realization of happening within themselves. Do you guys understand that? Or it is them believing that it is possible for this dream to happen. It just scares them for whatever reason because they're already invested and it's too late, blah, blah, blah. They make up excuses for themselves not to be better. So it keeps coming back. That's the thing. It keeps coming back. People want to put intimidation on you. They want to put fear into you. It keeps coming right back to them, and that's how you do it. You stick up for yourself. You stick up against all the stuff. You resist the stuff that is no longer conducive for society, and then you call them out on it and say that is nothing that is conducive for you as a man, as a human being, as a species. So stop. And then you're going to enjoy it. You're going to be like, my God, there's just that part of resistance in themselves they got to let go. So, but again, so there's a few scenes too. There's a really cool scene where you have like Burning Man, or you have like these festivals in the woods, and where we share information. This is a really cool kick-ass part of this too. People want to attack the dreams and everything of the imagination and everything. But what they don't realize is, like, I like this part about the movie, is in order for them to do that, they have to face their fears. And what that is going into a music festival where everybody's on a heightened state of level, imagination of they're on, smoking, they're on drugs, or they're just in that pure form of celebration of music and everything. And it's their job, the enemy's job, to weave their way through that and survive. But also they got to smoke a little bit before they go in there, because that will also heighten them. And then that would put all the paranoia, because every person, the eyes they look into, they will see that reflection back at them, coming at them. They would never make it to the middle of that labyrinth. It's like a labyrinth, and you have these different gateways and different festivals, music festivals, and then even when they get into the middle, the whole thing was just a trap for, it's just, I don't know, it's just um, that's just one other cool scene. It's a really cool scene where you had spies, and then what happened was, what happened in the scenes too was, people took that as a challenge in government and like, okay, we'll do that, we'll accept that challenge because we know we're here to control over the people and everything. But what happens is they go in there, they meet like a really beautiful girl or man, and then they have the night starts to unfold in the most curious ways, and they end up having the best night of their life, and they're like, huh, no kidding, that's what this is about, that's what we're fighting. And then so it's kind of like in conversion therapy to something more kick-ass in this world. And it's opening those closed minds to something that they're gonna love, they're gonna cherish, and it's gonna be so cool. Um, so um, so yeah, and it just makes other people look like fools. So yeah, and this is so, this time in history, I'm so grateful to be a gay man in this world right now, in this culture, because what I've seen is um, a true acceptance of who I am, who we are, and we start to see the fear of other people being afraid that this acceptance is happening, um, but it's already kind of too late. Like, it's already, you know, people are waking up to that. There are still pockets of fear and stuff out there, but you can't grasp onto those few pockets that are already sinking, and then more and more people are starting to see the truth come out as, that's this other group. That's not really what I wanted to deal with, um, and they start to see the cool interaction of of different types of people you'd never expect on different sides, um, getting on board with something better and something cooler, and them losing ground because those people they loved are starting to come over to a better side, but that's also kind of like that leadership and that example that's being made, to help motivate and cheerlead those people out of those pockets of darkness too. So and that's something I'm grateful to be a gay man, to be able to sit here and interpret and share this video, no matter what. Um, so that's kind of the message that I am trying to get across here, as this is non-threatening to anybody, except anybody that's a threat to themselves, and that's why I'm trying to help even those people out. But if they can't see that, it's you're gonna make it too late for yourselves. I don't know. Um, but oh, and in the story too, in the dream world, like it's cool because you can recognize people. You can the glance of the eyes, and um, I think when I was writing the story, it was kind of like a blue, green, and purple kind of hazel, a version of blue, green, and hazel purple eyes in the dream world. But then when you see them, people in real life, you're like, ah, I saw that person in my dream, or didn't I just see that person? Didn't I talk to that person? And then so it gets this really cool energy kind of flowing in society, when it's kind of like this phenomenon that starts happening, um, um, because it is the free spirit, it is a liquid spirit, it is the free energy that cannot be controlled or contained. It's going to keep going. And even the opposition is pushing that. Out into the world to be something better. Um, so let's see what other portions of this movie. Um, uh, well, it's just a marketing too, guys. You have like the billionaires to the rescue. We talk about the societies. Um, you have all those people that did resist the corruption and everything that do happen to have a lot of money and are false pretenses of people that are rich and billionaires are working against us. But even this administration has proven, you know what, a lot of billionaires and millionaires out there are against the corruption. They see the bad seeds in government, and they want to do something good, and people start buzzing and talking. Don't talk to that person anymore. There's something better over here, and so this is about the people on, it's everybody, man. It's everybody in the pyramid waking up left and right, left and right, left and right. It doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what label you come from. It just keeps going and keeps moving, because that higher energy is a faster energy. It is not a lower vibration energy, even though they try to bring us down or weigh us down. That's kind of the thing that they're fighting, and then they can't understand what's going wrong in their life. But that energy keeps moving and moving forward because people still get it, and we will always get it. And that music is threaded through history. Those movies are threaded through history. Those movies have been telling us stories about reality. If we look even closer, all these movies we watched have been telling us the stories that we need to know now in reality, and getting us ready and set up for survival, for the better reasons. And even with that's a cool and interesting too. It's not like we're not ready for this and we're not prepared for this, despite what the media or anything wants us to believe, because there are so many heroes out there, so many passionate people out there, fighting for passion on every scale, and we're ready for this. I think we're ready for this, um, and what I mean by this too, everybody's ready. We see all these things about something bad's going to happen on this date, or something bad's going to happen. No, guys, this whole thing and the paranoia is about something good happening. That's where the paranoia is coming from. Is something good is happening. It's just they want us to believe something different. Um, So um, and this is our means for proving who we are as humanity. Um, so much love, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.